Welcome to our PowerPoint on how we teach reading and phonics in foundation stage at Walter Infant School and Nursery. In foundation stage, our big curriculum is based on the development matters in the early years foundation stage. So what is literacy development? Literacy development is broken into two different areas: communication and language, which is speaking, listening and attention, and understanding, and literacy, which is reading and writing. Below are the early learning goals for these different areas of learning and where we aim for all children to get to by the end of foundation stage. So how do we teach children to read at Walter Infant School and Nursery? We share good quality picture books with the children every day. We have daily phonics lessons, guided reading sessions, shared reading sessions, and we make sure that we have signs, labels and symbols in the environment for the children to look at and read. The children love their weekly guided reading sessions at school. The following slide explains what a guided reading session entails. During their guided reading sessions, children will work in ability-matched groups with a trained adult. This is usually their class teacher. Every child in the group will have a copy of the same book, and that will have been carefully selected to meet their learning needs. During the session, the adult will ask questions about the book to develop their understanding of book knowledge, such as, show me the title, can you find the blurb, and what do you think this book will be about? Each child will have one guided reading session every week. During the week, the children will also have shared reading sessions, and this will develop their book knowledge and inference and deduction skills. For example, what sort of character do you think the witch is, and why do you think the character did that? These are some examples of the books that we use during guided reading sessions. As you can see, there is a mixture of fiction and non-fiction books. These are the different colour book bands we use in school. When reading stories at home with your child, there are lots of questions that you can ask to make them think about what sort of book it might be and where they've seen the character before, perhaps. Here are some examples. When sharing books with your children, it's really important that you don't just focus on actually reading the words. There's so much more that can be done when you're reading a story. For example, talking about the book. Encourage your children to make predictions about what might happen next. And why do you think that? How do you think the character is feeling, and how do you know? Imagine that they are in the story. How would you be feeling?
At Walter Infant School, we teach the children to decode using phonics. What is phonics? Phonics refers to a method for teaching speakers of English to read and write their language. It involves connecting the sounds of spoken English with letters or groups of letters. For example, that the sound k can be represented by the letter C, K, CK, or CH as a spelling, and teaching them to blend the sounds of letters together to produce approximate pronunciations of unknown words. Phonics enables people to use individual sounds to construct words. For example, when taught the sounds for the letters t, a, and s, what words can you make? Here's some examples: tap, pat, pats, taps, spat, and sat. When teaching phonics, we use lots of different terminology. Here is a glossary of terms. Grapheme, a letter or a group of letters representing one sound. For example, sh, ch, I, o, as in though. A phoneme, the smallest possible single identifiable sound. The letters sh represent just one sound, sh, but sp or sp represent two different sounds. Grapheme-phoneme correspondence, the relationship between sounds and the letters which represent those sounds, also known as letter-sound correspondences. Blending or blend, to draw individual sounds together to pronounce a word. For example, snap, blended together reads as snap. Segment, to split up a word into its individual phonemes in order to spell it. The word cat has three phonemes, k, at. A digraph are two letters making one sound. For example, sh, ch, th, f. Split digraph, two letters, split making one sound. For example, A as in make or I as in sight. Pronunciation and enunciation. The pronunciation of each phoneme is very important. Sometimes people add an extra sound at the end. This is called the schwa sound, and it sounds like For example, we would say the phoneme M as m, not m. Listen to the sound of each phoneme and try practicing these at home. Phase 2 phonemes. S, A, t, I, m, d, g, o, e, a, r, h, b, f, l, l, s. Phase 3 phonemes. J, v, w, x, y, z, z, q, ch, sh, a, e, I, O, U, R, or, ow, oi, ear, air, your, uh. Children also learn some common exception words. Common exception words can't be broken down or segmented using phonics, so we have to learn them on sight. So in phase 2, there are the words I, the, to, no, go. In phase 3, he, she, we, me, be, was, no, go, my, you, they, her, all, are. We can use sound buttons underneath the phoneme to show that individual sound. We use a dot for an individual phoneme represented by one letter, or we'd use a dash if it was a digraph or a trigraph represented by many different letters. At Water Infant School, we use a resource called Phonics Play. This is a fantastic website with lots of games and activities. We can provide you with login details so you can access the website at home.
At Water Infant School, we believe that reading with your child at home is vital. There is research that shows that it's the single most important thing that you can do to help your child's education. It is best to read little and often, and try to think of ways to make reading more fun. So how can you support your child's reading at home? Sharing books with your child at home is extremely important. Reading to your child and reading together, listening to your child read, asking questions about what is happening in the story and the pictures, looking for clues to help your child decode unfamiliar or tricky words, and reading books again and again and again so they become familiar.
Where and when to read with your child. Bedtime stories, after school in a quiet, comfortable place where nothing else is happening. If you can't find time for the two of you to be together, encourage your child to read to their siblings too.
So here are some tips for how you can read at home with your child. When you're first reading a book, have a good look at the front cover. Can your child find the title? Ask questions about what the story might be about. Have they recognised any of the characters before? Can they find the blurb? It's really important to praise your child throughout the reading experience to really build up their confidence. We really want them to be confident and happy to have a go at reading. So if your child can't work out what the word is, praise them for having a go and then tell them the word, or you could read it together. If you or your child are not in a good mood, choose another time to read. There is no point in trying to battle on through a book if nobody is enjoying it. When choosing books to read at home with your child, it's really important to choose books that interest them, as well as encouraging them to read a wide range of different books. When you're looking at books, you can talk about the pictures, diagrams, and photographs that you can see in the texts. It's really important to never cover up the pictures. They can offer vital clues for decoding the text, and this is something that we encourage your children to do when they are reading with us in school. The picture can help them to find a word that makes sense and begins with the same sound or phoneme as the new word.
We have put together lots of resources on our website under Home Learning. We also have a YouTube channel with lots of videos of the adults in school reading their favourite stories. Thank you so much for taking time to read the information on how we teach reading and phonics at Water Infant School and Nursery. Please do not hesitate to contact your child's teacher if you have any questions. Thank you for supporting your child with learning to read by reading and sharing books at home.